Picture this. It's 6 a.m. You're standing at the airport check-in kiosk, coffee in hand, eyes still heavy from the early wake-up call. Just another flight, just another routine trip. You tap through the screens, confirm your seat. Yes, you packed your own bags. No, you're not carrying anything dangerous. The machine whirs. Your boarding pass slides out. You grab it without really looking, stuff it in your pocket. Head towards security like you've done 100 times before. But this time is different. This time there are 4 letters printed in the corner of that boarding pass. 4 letters you didn't notice. 4 letters that are about to turn your morning into a nightmare. SSSS. You reach the security checkpoint. Hand over your boarding pass and ID. The TSA agent scans it and suddenly their expression shifts. It's subtle. Most people wouldn't catch it. But something changes behind their eyes. Step aside, please. Those 3 words, spoken calmly, almost politely. But they hit like a verdict. You're directed away from the normal line, away from the passengers flowing smoothly through the scanners, into a separate area with white walls and fluorescent lights that seem brighter than everywhere else. And then it begins. Your bags are emptied, completely. Every pocket unzipped, every item removed and placed on a steel table. Your laptop swabbed for explosive residue. Your phone examined. Your toiletries lined up like evidence. Then comes the pat down. Thorough, methodical, hands moving across your body while other travelers walk past, glancing over with that look that says, what did they do? Questions start coming. Where are you traveling? Why? How long? Who are you meeting? What do you do for work? Have you visited these countries? 45 minutes later, you're released. Your belongings stuffed haphazardly back into your bag, your coffee long cold, your nerves completely shot. You make your flight, barely. But the question burns in your mind the entire way to your seat. What just happened? Why me? The answer is those 4 letters you never noticed. SSSS. A code that was printed on your boarding pass before you even woke up this morning. A code that marked you for secondary screening before you stepped foot in the airport. A code that might follow you for years. And here's the thing that should terrify every traveler. Most people have no idea this system exists. They don't know what triggers it. They don't know how to spot it. And they definitely don't know that once you're in the system, getting out can take years. But I'm about to tell you everything. Those 4 letters stand for Secondary Security Screening Selection, and despite what you might think, there's nothing random about it. When SSSS appears on your boarding pass, it means you were pre-selected for enhanced screening. Not at the airport, not by the agent who checked your ID. You were flagged potentially days before your flight by an algorithm that analyzed your booking and decided you warranted extra attention. The system is called Secure Flight. It's run by the TSA, and it cross-references your information against multiple government databases the moment you book a ticket. One-way international tickets. This is one of the biggest triggers. When you book a flight out of the country with no return, the system takes notice. It doesn't matter if you're a digital nomad who lives this way. It doesn't matter if you're visiting family indefinitely. One-way international travel is a red flag. Cash purchases. When you pay for a flight without a credit card, you're removing yourself from the financial tracking system, and that makes algorithms nervous. Cash means no trail. No trail means higher risk score. Last-minute bookings. Buying a ticket within 24 to 48 hours of departure is another trigger. The system interprets this as unusual behavior. Planned travelers book in advance. Suspicious travelers book last minute. At least that's what the algorithm believes. Travel to certain countries. There's a list of destinations that automatically elevate your screening status. Countries with ongoing conflicts. Countries with known security concerns. Even countries you might visit for completely innocent reasons. One trip can flag your profile for years. Gaps in your travel history. If your passport shows stamps that don't connect logically, or periods where you were somewhere but have no entry or exit records, that raises questions. Where were you? Why isn't it documented? Name matches. This one is particularly cruel. If your name is similar to anyone on a government watch list, even a partial match, you can get flagged. People with common names have reported years of SSSS screening simply because they share a name with someone they've never met. Unusual booking patterns. Multiple one-way tickets, routes that don't make logical sense, travel that looks like visa runs. The algorithm is watching for patterns that deviate from normal tourist or business travel. And here's the part that keeps travelers up at night. Once you're flagged, you might stay flagged for years. There are people on travel forums who report getting SSSS on every single flight for 3, 4, even 5 years straight. The system doesn't send you a notification. It doesn't explain why you were flagged. It doesn't tell you when or if you'll ever be removed. You're on a list, a secret list, with no transparency and no clear path off. The code itself can appear in different places depending on the airline. Sometimes it's in the bottom corner of your boarding pass. Sometimes it's near the barcode. Sometimes it's printed so small you'd never notice unless you were looking. Mobile boarding passes show it too, but it's often even smaller, easier to miss, and missing it means walking into that security checkpoint completely unprepared for what's about to happen. So what actually happens when those 4 letters are on your pass? Standard security isn't enough for SSSS passengers. You get the complete treatment, the full experience, and it's designed to be thorough in ways most travelers never encounter. First, your bags are completely emptied, not just opened, emptied, every single item removed and individually examined, every pocket checked, every compartment unzipped. That granola bar at the bottom of your backpack, they're looking at it. That phone charger tangled in your clothes, they're untangling it. Your electronics get special attention. Laptops, tablets, phones, cameras, each one is swabbed for explosive trace detection. Sometimes they're powered on to verify they're real devices. Sometimes they're taken to a separate area for additional screening. Then comes the physical screening, a full pat-down conducted by an officer of the same gender, thorough, systematic, including areas that feel invasive even when you know it's procedure. Arms, legs, torso, waistband, nothing is skipped. And throughout all of this, questions are being asked. Where are you going? What's the purpose of your trip? How long will you be there? Where are you staying? Who are you meeting? What do you do for work? Have you traveled to these countries recently? Your answers are being evaluated, not just for content, but for delivery. Hesitation is noted, inconsistencies are noted, nervousness is noted. The officers are trained to read behavior as much as they're trained to check bags. Sometimes SSSS passengers are taken to private rooms for extended questioning. This is where it goes from inconvenient to genuinely distressing. More questions, more scrutiny, more time ticking away while your flight boards without you. The consequences are real. Missing flights is common. SSSS screenings can take anywhere from 45 minutes to over an hour. If you arrived at the airport with normal timing, you might watch your plane push back from the gate while you're still being questioned. Connections become nearly impossible. That 90-minute layover that seemed reasonable, it's not reasonable when you have to go through enhanced screening again at your connecting airport. Yes, again, SSS often applies to every leg of your journey. And then there's the psychological weight, the public nature of being pulled aside, the stares from other passengers, the feeling of being treated like a suspect when you've done nothing wrong. The forums are full of stories. One traveler was flagged for 3 years after a single trip to Turkey. Business travel. Completely legitimate, but that one stamp in their passport triggered years of SSSS screenings. Another frequent flyer missed 6 flights in a single year because of SSSS delays. 6 flights, 6 missed meetings, 6 rebookings, all because of 4 letters. A family reported that their teenage son kept getting flagged because his name partially matched someone on a watch list. A child treated like a security risk because of his name. Digital nomads who book one-way tickets as a lifestyle report constant SS flags. Their travel pattern, completely normal for their life, looks suspicious to an algorithm designed for traditional travelers. The worst part? You never know if the next flight will be normal. You print your boarding pass with anxiety, you check the corners looking for those letters, you arrive hours early just in case. You feel like a criminal even though you've committed no crime. This is life with But it doesn't have to be permanent. Here's what the travel forums revealed. There are ways to fight back, ways to avoid getting flagged in the first place, ways to clear your name if you're already in the system. Let's start with prevention. If you haven't been flagged yet, these strategies can help keep it that way. Book round-trip tickets whenever possible. Even if you're not sure when you're coming back, having a return flight on your itinerary signals planned travel. It tells the algorithm you have routes, you have a reason to return. One-way tickets, especially international ones, are one of the biggest triggers. Avoid them when you can. Use credit cards for flight purchases. Cash and gift cards remove you from the financial tracking system. Credit cards create a trail that actually works in your favor. The algorithm sees verified identity, established payment history, lower risk, book in advance. Last-minute tickets trigger scrutiny. When you book weeks or months ahead, you look like a planner, a normal traveler, someone who isn't fleeing or acting impulsively. Give yourself at least a week when possible. Maintain consistent patterns. Erratic travel looks suspicious. Regular patterns look normal. If you travel frequently, try to maintain some consistency in your destinations and timing. The algorithm is looking for anomalies. Check your name. If you have a common name, consider adding your middle name to reservations. This helps distinguish you from potential watch list matches. Some travelers even use their full legal name, including suffixes, to create separation. Now, detection. If you're already being flagged, the first step is knowing before you arrive at security. Check your boarding pass immediately when it prints. Don't stuff it in your pocket and walk away. Look at it, examine the corners, check near the barcode, look for SSSS printed anywhere on the pass. On mobile boarding passes, zoom in. The letters can be small, they can be hidden in corners you wouldn't normally examine, but they're there if you look. If you see SSSS, you now have information, you have time to prepare, you know what's coming. Preparation is everything. Arrive early. Not just early, very early. Minimum 3 hours for domestic flights, 4 hours for international. SSSS screenings take time and you cannot rush them. The only thing you control is how much buffer you have. Keep your bags organized. You will be unpacked completely. If your bag is chaos, the screening takes longer and looks worse. Organized bags suggest organized travelers. Make their job easy. Have documentation ready. Hotel reservations, return tickets, business meeting details, purpose of travel. Anything that supports your stated reason for traveling. You might not need it, but having it ready shows preparation and legitimacy. Remove anything that requires explanation. That weird souvenir that looks suspicious on an X-ray, leave it home. That electronic device with wires showing, maybe ship it instead. Anything that might prompt additional questions is a liability. Stay calm. This is critical. Your reaction is being evaluated. Frustration extends the screening. Arguing creates notes in your file. Cooperation, even when it feels unfair, speeds up the process. The goal is to be forgettable, unremarkable, just another screening that revealed nothing. Now, the nuclear option, if you're getting SSSS repeatedly and want to fight it officially, there's one channel, DHS TRIP. The Department of Homeland Security Traveler Redress Inquiry Program is the official process for challenging your screening status. You file a complaint, you explain your situation, you provide documentation of your repeated screenings. If approved, you receive a redress number. This number gets added to all your future flight bookings. It tells the system that your case has been reviewed and resolved. Success stories exist. Travelers report flags being cleared within 6 to 12 months of filing. It's not guaranteed, it's not fast, but it's the only official path to getting off the list. Some travelers report that enrolling in TSA PreCheck or Global Entry helped clear their SSSS status. The theory is that voluntarily submitting to background checks and providing biometric data demonstrates good faith. It doesn't always work, but it's worth considering. Keep records of every SSSS screening, dates, airports, duration, what happened. This documentation strengthens your DHS TRIP complaint and shows a pattern that deserves review. Here's the mindset shift you need. If you're flagged, don't fight it at the airport. That battle cannot be won at the security checkpoint. Fighting there only makes things worse, creates notes, extends scrutiny. Fight it through proper channels. File the complaints, get the redress number, enroll in trusted traveler programs, build a paper trail that proves you're not a risk. At the airport, cooperate, be calm, be forgettable. Get through the screening and get on your flight. The system isn't fair, it isn't transparent. It flags innocent people and keeps them flagged for years without explanation. But now you know it exists. You know what triggers it. You know how to spot it. You know how to prepare for it. And you know how to fight back. Check your boarding pass on your next flight. Look in the corners, look near the barcode. Those 4 letters might already be there, and if they are, you'll know exactly what to do. If this video helped you understand something most travelers never learn, subscribe for more airport secrets that could save your next trip. Drop a comment if you've ever gotten SSSS. I want to hear your story. And share this with anyone who travels. They need to know about the code that could be following them.